All right, so in this next problem, problem 15, it is a level 3 type problem. Level 3 type problems are problems that involve more than one equation to solve. So you start the problem out just like you would any other problem, and think about what are we solving for. So it is asking for time. It says determine the time required for this shuttle to orbit the Earth. So time. You list out the things that were given. Here, it would be helpful to diagram what's happening. So you have the Earth. You have a space shuttle that's orbiting the Earth, moving in this circular path around the Earth. It's talking about the radius of the Earth, and it's also talking about the fact that the space shuttle is some distance above the Earth's surface. And so the radius of the Earth, I'm going to end up calling R sub Earth. And the distance above the surface, I'm going to call R2, because that's part of the larger radius that the space shuttle is traveling. So I define these terms in my annotation step. The speed is 27,800 kilometers an hour, given the two different distance values, and I need to solve for time. The most appropriate equation here is speed equals distance over time. This space shuttle is, you notice that it's orbiting at a constant speed. It said it's orbiting at 27,800 kilometers an hour. It's not accelerating. So the standard kinematic equations here are not useful. We need an equation that is useful for the situation. So this is a situation with constant speed. So speed equals distance over time. Now, when you think about substituting your values into this now, we have a challenge because we don't know speed and we don't know, we do know speed, we don't know distance, and we don't know time. No distance, no time. So I'm going to need a second equation because if I have two unknowns, I need two equations. Well, this is a circle. So the distance traveled by the space shuttle is the circumference of its circular path. Well, distance of the circumference is 2 pi r. 2 pi, and the radius that the space shuttle is traveling is the distance from the center of Earth to the space shuttle, which is the combination of the Earth's radius and that distance above the surface. So I added those two r values. This little note that just says what I just said. When we simplify this, inside of parentheses becomes 6,700. We multiply by 2 pi. I just made pi 3.14 and got 42,076 kilometers. If you're working in your calculator and you use a function that has pi to many more numbers after the decimal, your answer will be slightly different, but it's around that same value. So now that I have a distance, I can plug that into this formula along with other information I know. So I plug in my speed, I plug in the distance that I just found, and now the only unknown left is time. So if I do some algebra here, flipping the speed value and the time, you see that I get my final answer. So it takes a little over 1.5 hours for a space shuttle to circle the entire Earth one time, which is pretty incredible if you think about that.